Alright, we got the first quint of the quintessential quintuplets for a ride line, which I was not really expecting, a ride line of a collab set in a main booster set. But for this anime I do accept, so I'll gladly take it. And also some extra Dragon Empire cards. So let's begin. So let's start off with the generic Dragon Empire cards, with the first card being Onslaught Dragon Villain Rex. Grade 1 equipment skills, auto rearguard. When this card boosts, if your Vanguard has a crit of 2 or greater, costs, counterblast 1 and draw a card. Generic card that could be practically run in Dragon Empire decks that have crit of 2 base Vanguards. So far, Basagra, Gandiva, and in some cases, restanding Vanguards because of critical triggers. But still, not really worth running. Next, Drag Ritter Bazura. Grade 2 tank power and skills. Auto, when discarded during your battle phase, put this card to soul and then choose one of your opponent's back row rear guards and retire it. Well, Overlord can use this by default, and definitely few other decks, but mainly Overlord right now. But it's generic, so there is future use for this. And then we got Red Treasure Beast Garnet. Grade 1 AK power and skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard or guardian, costs, return 2 ride deck cards from soul or drop to the ride deck face up, and then perform one of these following abilities depending on this unit's circle. If it's on rearguard, you draw a card. If it's on guardian, shield plus 15k. So basically, it's a free card that lets you draw or 20k shield. Sure, you have to be at least grade 2 to be able to properly use this, but just being able to get free stuff is just really good. Even if it's just using your ride deck. Your ride deck, for the most cases in many decks, is not really going to be anything of use in the drop zone or soul. Some decks will matter, but for the most part, it won't even matter if you end up using the ride deck cards to put back to your ride deck. So a nice tech option if you have space for it. And now to the new quintessential quintuplet ride line for Ichika. Here's the starter, which will be for all the quintessential quintuplets. The quintessential quintuplets, literally. The only difference about this starter compared to the other ones is that you can only draw the card if you ride the quintessential quintuplet on top of it. So unfortunately, you cannot run this in every single deck. But regardless, I'm just going to collect this card because it's quintessential quintuplets. And then another generic card that every quintuplet deck will be using is Memories of the Quintuplets. This is a crest card, and the skill is that you cannot ride cards other than quintuplets, and your order zone is also regarded as memory. And the skill is, count when you put a non-quintuplet card into your memory, you put it to drop zone instead. This will be explained with the ride line, but every ride line will have something similar for this. But anyway, to the main skill, where act once per turn costs Soul Blast 1, look at the top cards of your deck equal to your Vanguard's grade, put one card from among them to the memory, and put the rest of the bottom deck in any order. If you choose a unit card with the same card name as a card from your memory, you may call it to rearguard instead of putting it into your memory. Basically, it's a quintuplet just remembering something from their past. That's why it's in the photo. But yeah, this is a crest card for the quintuplets overall for every quintuplet ride line, so you just have to run it. And now to the ride line grade 1 itself. After the school festival, Ichika Nakano, of course AK base power, and the skill is auto, when placed by riding on top of the quintessential quintuplets, you get Memory of the Quintuplet crest. And probably every single quintuplet ride line grade 1 will have this same skill. And the unique skill is count guardian. If your order zone has 3 or more quintuplets, this card gets 5k shield. Not bad for a 10k shield, especially if you're going to be putting 3 cards in your memory, which is going to be very easy in many cases. It's overall not going to be bad. It's just, I don't know, would you run more than 1 copy of this for the ride deck? Next, to the grade 2 with 10k power, returning from America, Ichika Nakano. The skill is auto, when this card is ride on top of a grade 1 quintuplet, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose 1 quintuplet from among them, and put it into your memory, and of course shuffle your deck. Already explained the memory card. But anyway, second skill, count rearguard. During your turn, if your opponent's rearguard was retired during this turn, this unit gets plus 5k power, and if your memory has 5 or more quintuplets with different names, this card gets plus 10k power instead. The returning from America is a clear reference of the anime, of course, especially when Ichika is an actress. The retire part is how she's actually destroying herself along with everyone around her for Futaro. That's what I am assuming here. And then to the grade 3 with 30k power, it's the quintessential quintuplet Ichika Nakano. The skill is auto, when placed on Vanguard, look at top 7 cards of your deck to choose up to 2 quintuplets from among them, reveal them, put one of the revealed cards to your hand, the other one goes to your memory, and of course shuffle your deck. Just just an excuse to continue riding this card, by the way. But anyway, second skill, Count Vanguard. If your memory has 6 or more quintuplets with different names, when your opponent would call cards from their hand to Guardian, they must call 2 or more at the same time. AKA, she's not gonna let anyone get in her way, so people just have to get in her way just to be able to stop her. But anyway, third skill, Auto Vanguard. When this card attacks a Vanguard, cost counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. And then choose one of your quintuplet rear guards. Until your turn, increase this unit's power to that unit's power of that retired card until the end of the turn. If you did not retire a card, this card gets plus 10k power instead. If I'm gonna get this little reference here, it just means she's trying to get everyone out of her way for one of her sisters. But when she's alone and realizes that she's in love with Futaro, she powers up herself instead, hence if your opponent has nothing to retire. This is just a little bit of assumption, but anyway, this is overall not too bad. You will have 6 different quintuplets with different names, especially for its own archetype ride line, because yeah, it has to be original card name and they have different titles. But overall, it's not too bad. Has a guard restrict, extra power, and even can give it to the rear guard and retire. So I'll take it, although Ichika is my least favorite quintuplet though. And then we go to a normal order, Memories of the School Festival Ichika Nakano. It's a grade 3 normal order and you play it if your Vanguard is quintessential quintuplet Ichika Nakano. Hence why you have to play them in a specific ride line now. But anyway, the skill is choose 2 quintuplets with the same card name with each other from the drop zone, put one to the bottom deck, and put the other to your memory. If you choose one or more cards, perform all the following according to the number of different named quintuplet cards in your memory. If you have at least 3, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. If you do not retire, draw a card. If you have at least 5, countercharge 1. If you have at least 7, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets this ability. Count Vanguard. During the battle that this card attacked, your opponent cannot call Sentinels from their hand to Guardian Circle and cannot play Blitz orders until the end turn. So basically lets you recycle, increase your memory, but then what's powerful about this one is not only that it lets you retire more stuff and get you more pluses, even a countercharge, but it can combine your guard restrict with the Ichika Nakano itself. This one makes your opponent cannot call Sentinels with Blitz orders. Add that to Ichika Nakano itself where it has a Battle Dora. That right there can be very defensive breaking right there. Of course it takes efforts to do it, but the payoff might actually be worth it here. Overall it is a must play in the Ichika Nakano deck. And now to some support cards. We started with Incognito Actress Ichika Nakano, which is grade 1 with K power and skills. Auto 1, place on rear guard. If your Vanguard is a quintuplet, look at top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 quintuplet from among them and put it into your memory and then of course shuffle your deck. This skill is auto 4 of just for this one skill. But anyway, second skill, Count Rear Guard. If your memory has 3 or more quintuplets with different names, this card gets plus 2k power and it's also on your opponent's turn too. Mainly uses for the first skill, but being a 10k body is just pretty nice as well. Next, Mean Love Ichika Nakano. Grade 2 taking power and skills. Auto, when placed on rear guard, if your Vanguard is quintessential quintuplet Ichika Nakano, cost counterblast 1, put a quintuplet from your drop zone on the bottom of the deck, and then choose one of your opponent's rear guards to retire it. If your memory has 5 or more quintuplets with different names, you also draw a card. So basically lets you recycle and retire one of your opponent's rear guards. Must play. So that's it for the new quintessential quintuplet Ichika Nakano ride line. What do you guys think of it? And what do you think of the character overall? And considering it's Dragon Empire, what other nations do you think the quintuplets will be in? Or in this case, which quintuplet will be in which nation? Because there's 5 and there's 5 great nations. Ichika Nakano is my least favorite quintuplet of them, but at least her ride line is pretty decent. I am looking forward to mostly Nino at the most, Miku second, and then Itsuki for the third. But overall, it's not a bad deck. And I was not actually expecting each quintuplet to be its own ride line, because seeing how these collabs are going and this is a main booster set, I was just expecting like random cards, but nope, these are all their own respective decks. Which actually makes me wish this was its own collab set, because I actually like quintessential quintuplets and I'm sure a lot of people do. But oh well, at least it doesn't clog one scheduled release date, so there's that good part. But anyway, go ahead and tell me what you guys think about this collab. But on that's it for this, and see you all next time.